This message found you for a reason, and this first card is already speaking loudly. The Empress reversed is not soft energy today. It is not gentle. It is not passive. This is the energy of someone realizing that your softness has been touched by the wrong hands before. Your kindness has been mistaken for permission. Your warmth has been treated like something people could take from without protecting what they were receiving, and this avoidant masculine feels that. He may not say it clearly. He may not come running in with emotional words. He may still look controlled, distant, even unreadable on the outside, but inside something in him has gone completely still. His instincts are alert. He is watching who comes near you. He is watching who thinks they can speak to you casually, touch your energy casually, enter your space casually, and act like your presence is not sacred. But this is where it gets deeper, because the Empress reversed shows that he senses a wound around your feminine energy, your softness, your body, your peace, your ability to receive love without fear. He can feel that people may have taken from you when they should have been nurturing you. He can feel that someone may have enjoyed your beauty, your comfort, your affection, your emotional safety, but never truly honored it. And that does something to him. This is not just attraction. This is not just jealousy. This is protection waking up in a man who usually tries not to feel too much. What you don't see is that he is trying to remain logical, but his body is already reacting. His chest tightens when he thinks about the wrong person near you. His mind sharpens when he feels someone's intentions are not clean. His silence is not weakness. His silence is strategy. The reason this is so intense is because he does not want careless hands on you. He does not want careless words around you. He does not want anyone touching your softness unless they understand the responsibility of honoring it. Something in him has awakened, and with the Empress reversed, he is realizing your peace needs protection now. And now the Three of Pentacles reversed is showing why this protection is not simple for him. Because this is the card of people not working together properly, energy not being respected, roles being misunderstood, someone building something with you but not carrying their part with maturity. And when this card comes in reversed, it feels like is looking at the people around you and realizing not everyone deserves access to what you bring to the table. Because your energy gives. Your energy supports. Your energy makes people feel safe enough to lean, safe enough to speak, safe enough to receive something warm from you. But the Three of Pentacles reversed says, there have been people who wanted your presence without honoring your value. They wanted your emotional labor, your patience, your beauty, your comfort, your reassurance, but they did not know how to build with you. They only knew how to take from the structure you were holding, and he sees that. He may not have the full language for it, but he sees it. He sees when someone's tone is a little too familiar. He sees when someone stands too close, laughs too easily, reaches too casually, acts like they can enter your space without earning that closeness. He sees disrespect disguised as friendliness. He sees attention that does not feel pure. He sees people admiring what is soft about you, but not respecting what is sacred about you. And this is where his inner conflict begins, because the avoidant part of him wants to stay detached. It wants to say, this is not my place. I should not react. I should not care this much. but his body does not agree. His nervous system is already ahead of his words. His jaw tightens, his energy changes, his eyes become sharper. He may go quiet, but that silence has pressure inside it. Because this is not only about protecting you from other people. This is also about the fact that protecting you makes him feel exposed. It shows him how much he cares. It shows him that your peace matters to him in a way he cannot explain away. And with the Three of Pentacles reversed, he is realizing that the wrong people have been allowed too close to something they did not know how to honor. That is why his distance is confusing right now. It is not empty distance. It is not coldness without feeling. It is a man trying to control a reaction that is becoming stronger than his avoidance. And what you do not see is that he is starting to understand pieces of your past without you saying them out loud. He can feel where you learned to tolerate too much. He can feel where your softness became tired. He can feel where people mishandled you and then acted like nothing happened. And that is what is making this protection mode harder for him to hide. And the Hermit reversed is telling on that hidden trigger. Because this is not just about who came near you. It is about what happened to your energy when they did. It is about how your light pulled back, how your body became a little quieter, how your face stayed composed, but something in your spirit stepped away from the room, and he noticed that. He noticed the moment your softness stopped flowing naturally and started managing itself. He noticed when your smile became polite instead of real. He noticed when your voice stayed calm, but your energy was no longer open. And this is where it gets deeper, because the Hermit reversed can show someone who has been alone with a wound for so long that they do not even announce when they are uncomfortable anymore. They just adjust. They just endure. They just make themselves smaller in a situation where someone else should have been more respectful. And that is what triggered him. Not just the person, not just the closeness, not just the tone. It was the way your nervous system seemed to recognize something before your mouth ever said a word. It was the way you almost prepared yourself to tolerate something you should not have to tolerate anymore. He may not know the whole story. He may not know every name, every moment, every time someone crossed a line and then made you feel dramatic for reacting. But he recognizes the pattern. He recognizes the energy of someone who learned how to stay graceful while being uncomfortable. Someone who learned how to keep the peace while their own peace was being disturbed. Someone who learned how to be kind even when their body was saying, I do not feel safe here. And what you don't see is that this hits something primal in him, because the avoidant part of him may still want to analyze it, still want to stay quiet, still want to act like he is not affected. But the masculine part of him is watching your energy and realizing, no, she should not have to shrink around anyone. That is why his protection is intensifying, because he cannot stand the thought of you normalizing disrespect. He cannot stand the thought of you making excuses for people who make your spirit retreat. And with the Hermit reversed, he is starting to see the difference between someone who loves your softness and someone who only knows how to consume it. And that is why the Page of Wands reversed is so important here, because this card is showing an energy that does not know how to approach something sacred with maturity. This is impulsive attention. This is curiosity without responsibility. This is someone wanting access before they have earned trust. And this avoidant masculine can feel the difference. He can feel when someone is drawn to your fire, but not prepared to respect your boundaries. He can feel when someone likes your warmth, your playfulness, your sensuality, your openness, but does not have the emotional discipline to handle it with care. And this is where the message becomes very specific, because his protection is not about controlling you. It is not about owning you. It is not about making you smaller so he can feel bigger. No, this is not that. This is something in him saying, do not let careless energy touch what is sacred. Do not let someone come near your softness just because they are excited by it. Do not let someone reach for your attention just because they are bored. Do not let someone play with your fire when they do not even know how to hold their own. Because the Page of Wands reversed can be immature energy, restless energy, testing the boundary energy. Someone who moves too fast, speaks too casually, flirts too freely, reaches too boldly, and then acts innocent when the energy becomes uncomfortable. And he sees that. He may not say it in a perfect emotional sentence. He may not sit you down and explain, I feel protective of you. That may not be how he moves. So it comes out differently. It comes out as watchfulness. It comes out as his face changing when certain people come around. It comes out as withdrawal, as tension, as sudden seriousness, as him becoming quieter but more present. It comes out as him paying attention to what your energy does around people who think they can touch your space without permission. And again, this is not ego jealousy. Ego jealousy wants possession. Ego jealousy says, you are mine, so no one can look at you. But this energy is different. This energy says, you are sacred, so not everyone gets access. That is the difference. He does not want to cage you. He does not want to silence you. He does not want to decide your life for you. But something in him does want to stand between your softness and anything that comes toward it with careless hands, careless words, or selfish hunger. And when the title says, don't let anyone touch you, this is not only about physical touch. This is about emotional touch, energetic touch, spiritual touch, the way people enter your field, the way they take up space in your nervous system, the way they leave fingerprints on your piece and then walk away like they did nothing. And with the Page of Wands reversed, he is realizing some people do not need more access to you. They need less. They need distance. They need boundaries. They need to understand that your warmth is not an open invitation. And the more he sees that, the more his silence starts to feel impossible to maintain. And now the Six of Wands reversed is showing why, because this card is about recognition that is blocked, victory that cannot be fully claimed, pride that has been humbled. This is someone who may look like he has control, but inside he is not feeling as untouchable as he pretends to be. Because your softness is changing him. And that is the part he did not expect. He thought he could observe you from a distance. He thought he could keep his emotions organized. He thought he could stay logical, stay guarded, stay in that place where he does not have to need anyone too deeply. But your energy has reached a part of him that does not respond to logic. Your softness is not making him weak. It is exposing where he has been shut down. And with the Six of Wands reversed, there is something here about him not knowing how to show up proudly yet. He may want to protect you, but he is also aware of where he has failed to be fully present. You may see other people being careless with your energy, but then something turns back on him and he has to ask himself, have I been careful enough with her heart? Because this is where it gets deeper. The Empress reversed was showing the wound around your feminine energy, but now this card is showing his fear of not honoring it correctly. He may be realizing that silence can also touch you the wrong way. Distance can also feel like a careless hand when someone's heart is open. Inconsistency can also drain softness. Emotional guardedness can also make a person feel like they are giving warmth into a space that does not know how to receive it. And he knows that. He may not want to admit it. He may not want to sit with the guilt. He may still try to tell himself he has reasons, that he needed time, that he was protecting himself, that he did not know how to move differently. But what you don't see is that his protection of you is becoming a mirror. It is making him look at the ways he has avoided love while still wanting access to the safety of your presence. That is why this is so uncomfortable for him, because the more he wants to protect you from careless energy, the more he has to face the places where his own energy may have felt careless too. And now the person he is most afraid might hurt you is himself. And the King of Cups reversed is saying exactly that, because this is emotional control under pressure. This is a man who feels deeply, but does not always know how to hold those feelings in a way that feels safe for the other person. This is someone who may have learned to keep the water inside, to keep the face still, to keep the heart hidden, because showing too much felt dangerous. But now he is replaying things. He is replaying the moments where he pulled back when you needed warmth. He is replaying the times he acted like he did not notice your sadness when he did. He is replaying the moments where your energy reached for reassurance and he gave silence instead. He may not say it. He may not show it. He may still look composed, still look guarded, still look like he has everything under control. But inside, this King of Cups reversed is not calm. He is unsettled because he sees now that withholding emotion can also become a kind of carelessness. Not because he meant to harm you, not because he did not feel anything, but because he did not know how to let his feelings come forward without feeling like he was losing control. And this is where the guilt sits heavy, because he is realizing that your softness did not need him to be perfect. It needed him to be tender. It needed him to be honest. It needed him to not make you feel like loving him was something you had to survive. And that is what is pressing on him. He does not want to be another person who drank from your warmth and then left you emotionally thirsty. He does not want to be another person who received your patience but did not protect your heart. He does not want to be another person who made you question whether your softness was too much, when really his capacity was too guarded. So now his protection is turning inward too. It is not only who is around her, it is how have I been around her. It is not only who touched her peace, it is did my distance touch her peace too? And that question is not easy for him, because the King of Cups reversed can love deeply and still struggle to express it cleanly. He can feel devotion and still hide behind restraint. He can want to protect you and still fear that his own silence has already wounded something delicate. And that guilt is becoming pressure. Pressure in his chest. Pressure in his thoughts. Pressure behind every message he has not sent and every word he keeps swallowing. Because at some point, feeling protective is not enough. At some point, he has to decide whether he is going to keep watching your softness from a distance or finally become safe enough to come closer. And the King of Pentacles is showing the kind of energy he knows this situation requires. Not panic, not chaos, not loud possession. Stability, discernment. A man who understands that protection is not only about reacting after something happens. It is about noticing what should not be allowed near the foundation in the first place. Because there is something around this connection that feels intrusive. It may not be obvious. It may not be something you can point to and say, this is exactly what is wrong. But energetically, something feels too comfortable with crossing lines. Someone may be acting friendly, but there is a hunger underneath it. Someone may be acting supportive, but there is competition underneath it. Someone may be trying to access your attention, your body, your emotional labor, your softness, your validation, without coming with honorable intentions. And he feels that. He may not have proof. He may not have a full explanation. He may not be able to say, this person is doing this, or that person means that. But his body knows when something does not feel clean. His instincts know when someone is getting too close to what they have not earned. And with the King of Pentacles here, his protection mode becomes more serious because now he is not only feeling protective emotionally, he is thinking about your safety, your environment, your stability, your peace. He is watching who tries to take up space around you. He is watching who gets irritated when you have boundaries. He is watching who only respects you when you are giving, smiling, available, easy to reach. Because those are the people who reveal themselves when your softness stops serving them. And this is why don't let anyone touch you feels so loud in this message. Because touch is not only hands on your body. Touch is someone entering your nervous system and leaving you unsettled. Touch is someone pulling on your emotions until you feel responsible for their comfort. Touch is someone stepping into your spiritual space with selfish energy and acting like your peace is theirs to disturb. The King of Pentacles does not like that. He does not like loose energy around what he sees as valuable. He does not like people treating your presence like something casual. He does not like the idea of anyone coming near you without respect, without grounding, without maturity, without the intention to protect what they are receiving. So now he is watching differently. He is not only watching them, he is watching you. He is watching whether you still excuse it, whether you still smile through it, whether you still let them close. And the Magician is showing that shift very clearly because this is the card of power returning to your own hands. This is not you becoming hard. This is not you becoming cold. This is you realizing that your energy is not something everyone gets to access just because they know how to ask for it, pull on it, flatter it, or make you feel guilty for protecting it. Because something in you is changing too. You may be responding slower now. You may be explaining less. You may be smiling less when something does not feel right. You may be noticing where your body says no before your mouth has the courage to say it. And this is where it gets deeper. Because the magician is not passive energy. This is someone remembering they have tools, they have discernment, they have voice, they have choice. They have the ability to decide who comes close and who does not. And he feels that. This avoidant masculine can feel when your energy stops leaking into places that never refilled you. He can feel when you are no longer performing warmth for people who have not earned tenderness from you. He can feel when you stop giving casual access to your attention, your time, your softness, your emotional labor. And it does something to him because now he is not only seeing you as someone who needs protection. He is seeing you as someone who is beginning to protect yourself, and that makes him respect you differently. Because your softness was never the problem. Your kindness was never the weakness. Your openness was never the mistake. The lack of protection around it was the problem. The people who took advantage of it were the problem. The habit of staying polite when your spirit was uncomfortable was the problem. The old reflex to make others feel safe while your own nervous system was asking for safety, that was the thing being exposed. But now, with the magician here, your energy is becoming more intentional. You are not just available because someone wants you to be. You are not just reachable because someone is used to reaching. You are not just soft because someone is hungry for softness. You are beginning to decide where your light goes. And what you don't see is that your boundaries may be the very thing that pulls his honest masculine energy forward. Because when you stop leaving the door open for careless energy, he has to decide whether he is going to stand outside with everyone else or step forward with something real. And the Wheel of Fortune is showing that exact turning point. Because this is the moment where the pattern cannot keep spinning the same way. This is the moment where avoidance starts feeling less like protection and more like a risk. A risk of losing access. A risk of watching the wrong energy get close. A risk of standing back so long that someone else thinks your softness is unguarded. And he feels the wheel turning. He may not be saying it out loud, but something in him knows the energy has shifted. The old way of handling this is not working anymore. The old silence is not giving him peace. The old distance is not making him feel safe. The old strategy of observing from the outside is starting to feel like he is leaving something sacred exposed. Because now, with the Wheel of Fortune here, this is bigger than a moment. This is a cycle. A cycle of him feeling deeply and then pulling back. A cycle of you offering warmth and then wondering if it was received. A cycle of him watching, waiting, controlling himself, and then feeling that pressure build again when someone else gets too comfortable around you. And this is where it gets deeper because he is starting to understand that protection cannot stay invisible forever. At some point, if he truly feels called to guard your peace, he has to decide what his presence means. Is he going to be another silent observer? Is he going to keep letting his fear decide the distance? Is he going to keep pretending that his body does not react when your energy is being touched by something that does not honor it? He may be rehearsing words. He may be considering a message. He may be watching for the right opening, the right moment, the right sign that stepping forward will not expose him too much. But the truth is, the Wheel of Fortune does not let someone stay comfortable inside an old pattern when the lesson has already been revealed. And the lesson is clear. He can either remain guarded and risk watching someone else mishandle what he already knows is precious, or he can become the kind of presence that does not just feel protective in secret, but shows protection through consistency, clarity, and care. So now the real question is not whether he feels protective. He does. The real question is whether he is ready to protect you openly. And the Eight of Swords reversed is answering that in a very powerful way, because this is the card of something loosening, a mental prison opening. A person beginning to see that the fear they were trapped inside does not have to keep controlling every move they make. And for him, this is the fear of exposing what he feels. He may still be guarded. He may still be careful. He may still need time to find the words that match what his body already knows. But something is changing in the way he sees you, and something is changing in the way he sees himself. Because the Eight of Swords reversed shows that he is beginning to understand that silence is not safety if it leaves your softness unprotected. Distance is not control if it costs him the chance to honor what he already knows is sacred. And for you, this card is just as important, because your softness is no longer available to be touched casually. Your peace is no longer something people can walk into with dirty intentions and leave fingerprints all over. Your warmth is no longer an open door for anyone who is lonely, hungry, curious, bored, or careless. The Empress reversed showed where your feminine energy had been overgiven, mishandled, drained, and underprotected. But now, by the end of this message, something is unbinding. You are not trapped in the old pattern anymore. You do not have to make yourself easy to access just to prove you are kind. You do not have to keep smiling when your spirit is uncomfortable. You do not have to let people touch your emotional body just because they know how to get close to your physical space. Protection begins with a boundary you stop apologizing for. And anyone who truly loves you will honor that. They will not resent the wall that protects your softness. They will not punish you for needing safety. They will not call you cold because you stopped giving warmth to hands that never knew how to hold it. This avoidant masculine feels present here. Watchful, changed, still imperfect, still guarded, still learning how to let his protection become something you can actually feel. But he knows now that your presence is not casual. Your softness is not cheap. Your peace is not public property, and the right person will not rush to touch what is sacred. They will first prove they know how to protect it.